Okay, so let's take a look at how you can create the instance of MySQL server and then connect that with DBVisualizer. So it's one of the admin tools. As you can see, DBVis, and can be downloaded for Windows as well. It looks something like this. So it's a Java tool. So you'll have to do few things like download those SSL certificate, give it a path, and so on. So for now, I can show you the demo of how it looks. Let's open it from directory. I have downloaded the portable edition, so it's available here. Now let's go back to Google Cloud Platform. Here, make sure to create an account, then create project, then add the billing. Make sure to add all these things, and then next is move on to view all products, where you can access Cloud SQL section, where we are going to create the instance of our MySQL server, right? So let's wait for it to load, and once it is loaded we will go to create the instance. I already created one to quickly get access, but I want to show you the process of creating the MySQL server as well. So I will just hold on for all the things to load. Meanwhile, let's wait for also our DBVs to load in the background. I managed to open DBVisualizer. It looks something like this, and I can click on create connection. Then we will be choosing the driver, where driver is for MySQL 8. Double click and it will slowly open the tab. It's a bit slow, so let's wait for our details to fetch. So now we will go back to our products, click on databases, then we choose Cloud SQL. Okay, so now that instance page is loaded. Here you can see I already have one instance. I will show you how to create a new one. So click on create instance, then choose MySQL. From the list of instance options, choose MySQL. Now this should load a form. On the left hand side you have list of configuration, on the right hand side you have summary of chosen configurations, right? I will pick the instance ID. I will type in MySQL something 2, then I will set the password. I can also enforce some password policies like minimum length, complexity, reuse limitations, and disallowing username in password. Then comes database version, where I can select MySQL 8. Now to choose a configuration to start with, I will choose between production and development, where you can see the production is good for your long-term workload, serious databases, enterprise or small business or so. And there is also development option, where you can choose between the test database or something and deploy it over there for testing and small traffic or type of scenario. Once you choose that, let's move to next option, which is region and zone availability. So I pick the region close to me. So in my case that's Asia. Notice that there is also this green icon showing low carbon emission data centers, so I can select that. Next comes zonal availability, where you have single zone, multiple zone options. So you pick the single zone for your simple deployment. In case of multiple zone, you get the option to choose the respective zones as well. Then comes customize your instance option, and you can configure that. Now let's try and scroll here, where you can see machine type, where you can see chosen configuration for CPU and memory. So in my case I will choose 2 CPU and memory, right? So 2 CPU 8 GB memory. You can pick from high memory, lightweight, standard and shared core options. Next comes storage, where you can choose between SSD and HDD, and you can choose the storage capacity 10 GB, 20, 100, 200 and so on. Here you also have option for automatic storage increase option. right? So we also have encryption option where we let Google manage the encryption key. Next comes connection, where you can choose between private and public IP, and in my case I will add the multiple IPs using 0.0.0.0/0, and I will just click done to add all the range of IPs over there. Now next thing is data protection, where you can see automatic backups in specific time, also point in time recovery option you have, and retention lock for those. And then comes deletion protection. I will disable this just in case if you don't want to delete while the instance is running, right? So next would be choosing your maintenance option. Now here you see the maintenance window where you see you have specific update or patches to deploy, then you will use that particular day of the week for maintenance window. Then comes your order of update, any letter earlier for the update. Then flag and query insight I will skip because for test machines that doesn't matter much. You can add label if you want to sort your cloud instances. Then finally click create instance. It will take around 5 to 10 minutes depending on how that server is going to allow you to deploy all the resources. So in my case it took around 4 minutes. Your case could be different. Once you create the instance, it should be available like this. Click on that and then you will be seeing the deployed MySQL instance. Here you see the deployed instance being shown. You can also see the IP address, right? If I want to delete this, I will have to disable the protection, so for that I will edit it, right? So I'm just showing you just in case those you want to use this and want to edit things out. You can scroll here and within data protection go to deletion protection, uncheck that, right? And then make sure to save it so that now next time you wish to delete things it will allow you to do so. It will take a bit of time to restart and show up, but you will get the idea. Now here is service running. Now I can click on delete if I want to. Now next thing is our public IP address is ready. I will copy that, then I will move to users to show you which is the username. So root is the username, and then move to connections just to see if we allow all the IP ranges. Then comes the security tab where you can download the SSL connection certificate, right? So allow SSL and download that certificate. Now next thing is you are going to DBVis where you can see MySQL 8 is there. I will just paste the server IP. Then we have user ID root. Then comes the password, right? And once we have these things, I can test out if it lets me connected. Okay, if it allows me without SSL, that's good enough. So here you see MySQL connector and so on. I can see the databases. I can expand on that, and here I will double click to see the tables. Open object. There you see we have table users, right? So if I right click on users table and run some sort of script in a new tab, you will see that, right? So here I need to see the data, and there you see 3 rows of data. I can see the columns, first one being integer. I can also make it private key up and auto increment, primary key and auto increment. So like this I can make the modification through DBVisualizer, right? I can do the small operations like row count, primary key. Here we have to manually mention that. So here you can see your database to be open as a spreadsheet. Then there is also option of adding indexes, giving granted access. Row IDs you can set DDL, native DDL queries. As you can see here, you can mention primary key and run the query, right? So I want to see if I can check the data right here. As you can see, now if I want to run the scripts, I will just check SQL Commander and new SQL query on the MyDB. Now if I use select all from users and if I run this particular set of query, it should show me some output at the bottom, right? There you see we have our table data. I can edit, modify, delete few things, and we are pretty much done. So we achieved our goal of connecting the Google Cloud Platform to DBVisualizer.